What's up, everybody? Welcome back to DMW Sports. Back here for Fantasy Fridays for our upcoming Week 7 slate of football. Happy to dive into this. We got some interesting matchups to get into. Guy by guy, Manny here. We're going to give you guys the guys that you must have in your lineup because they're about to go off coming up here for the weekend. Manny, how you doing today?
Man, I can't complain. It's another week. I'm a little sick about what happened Monday, but we'll hopefully Sunday can get the taste out of my mouth.
I understand. Obviously, Manny himself is, of course, a Commanders fan. Had a tough loss on a game-winning field goal for the Chicago Bears, trying to return the favor for the Hail Mary from last year. Of course, we're going to go ahead and get into this. I'm actually going to begin, funny enough, with those Bears. Unfortunately for you, Caleb Williams versus the Saints is actually my start of the week at quarterback position. I think he's got a really good matchup. I like the things that I saw coming out of the bye week. I think that they could stand to get Luther Burden a little bit more involved, but I think the structure of the offense is now settling in. I think they have good guy pass protection. The ability to use DeAndre Swift in the run game continues to open things up for the play action aspect of it. So I think Caleb Williams should be in your lineup. Is going to give you guys some points at the quarterback position. Manny, who's your quarterback star of the week?
You know, uh, Unfortunately, I got to go with Dak here. I feel like at this point, most people are going to be starting him in your lineups, but if you are for some reason stuck between Dak and another quarterback, just put Dak in your lineup. He's going at minimum 25 points, and that's at the minimum. So yeah, just be comfortable with him in your lineup.
Dak does get Mr. CD Lamb back this week, and he said that he would be out there playing with no restrictions as well. So that'll be helping him out as well. Manny, who's your running back start of the week?
Running backs, I got to go with Quinshawn. Man, I think the situations. I'm not sure, but I think there have been recent reports saying that the weather was going to get a little crazy over there. I think winds going up to 36 miles an hour. So I don't think it's going to be ideal to be passing too much. And with Dylan struggling a little bit, still getting his feet wet. I think they do rely on Quinshawn. They didn't get him going too much last week. He didn't really have too much success on the ground. But I do believe that if they do want to have any success at all, it's going to be through Quinshawn.
Yeah, I don't blame him one bit, and I understand it as well. I'm going to go with a running back start of the week. That's probably going to sound maybe a little bit crazy, but look, I understand why. Um, Ramondre Stevenson for New England versus Tennessee. New England's obviously done a really good job at their ability to be able to put themselves in good positions on a consistent basis, especially the offense is playing well. I think they're going to get out there. They're trying to impose their will as far as what they can do on the ground game versus Tennessee. Tavondre Sweat may be back for this game. We'll see. He is recovering from his injury. I know his practice window did open up, but I think they will take advantage of this Tennessee defense that has struggled, specifically by running the ball and continue to put some points up on the board. So that's my running back start of the week. My wide receiver start of the week, Manny, you could probably guess, is Rashee Rice against the Raiders. Man, hey man, he's got a great matchup versus the spine of this defense for the Raiders that has struggled a lot. Whether you talk about the nickel cornerback spot, the linebackers have struggled, and certainly the safeties as well. There are going to be plenty of opportunities in the middle of the field as the Raiders probably will end up having a lot of cover one, a lot of cover three over the top, trying to prevent the big plays being down the field to Tyquan Thornton, Xavier Worthy. The middle of the field will be open, in my opinion, for Rashee Rice to come back and get peppered with targets because, in my opinion, he is the number one target for the Chiefs offense. So if you got Rashee Rice, if you stashed him for these last 6 weeks, put him back in your lineup. He's ready to roll for this week. Manny, hit me with your wide receiver start of the week.
Yes, sir. Welcome back, Mr. Rice. This week, I think the we got a good matchup between the Bucks and the Lions. I think Jameson Williams is going to take the top off a couple times. I think they're going to try and get him in rhythm. We saw last week, with against the Niners, that they gave up a lot of big plays. I think it's just going to go hand in hand with them trying to get JMO back involved too.
Yeah, absolutely. And you saw obviously JMO scored the touchdown on Sunday Night Football versus the Chiefs. I think that there was an aspect of, hey, can we get back to the big play element? And you expect Tampa to put up some points on the other side as far as that is concerned. So it certainly seems like it could be a high scoring game between those two. Looking forward to that matchup. I think it's going to be a Monday Night Football. Going to be a lot of fun to watch
Yeah.
between those two teams at the top of the NFC as it currently stands as well. Hit me with your tight end start of the week, and then we'll go ahead and get on out of here.
All right, I got Harold Fannin this week. I
Mm.
think if there are reports that Njoku might not play, he's also on the trade block too. So even if he doesn't get moved, I think they're going to be cautious with him. I think they do want to see what they have in Harold. Well, they know what they have in Harold, and I think they're going to continue to try and get him the ball. We already saw Dylan have that chemistry with him last week. I think he has a good matchup again this week too.
Yeah, it makes total sense. They've made an emphasis to get him the ball early on, especially in ways in which he can kind of thrive in yards after the catch as well. And they need it as far as the offense. And look, if Njoku's out, that means that he gets all of those opportunities, and obviously that bodes well for him. Certainly, I'm going to actually stay in that game. I'm going to go with Darren Waller, who's been a little bit of a nice revelation since he's obviously come back to playing in the NFL football games recently. I think that he continues his good start to the season versus a Browns team that has a good defense but has struggled, at least specifically versus tight ends. I think there's another opportunity for Waller to be moved around the matchup. And again, Dolphins missing Tyreek Hill. We see that it's a lot of Jalen Waddle and it's a lot of Darren Waller. I expect it to stay that way. I think he gets peppered with targets to be able to move the ball as well. So those are our fantasy football starts of the week. Hope you guys have a best of shot in their lineups, and make sure you guys are getting ready for the trade deadline as well. Manny, appreciate you coming by, man.
I appreciate you for having me.